So here we are now. We've finished the harvest season of the rice. It started off under very testing circumstances. So a couple of days before we were due to harvest, there was a typhoon. So we had to decide, do we harvest before the typhoon or after the typhoon? And because we're using traditional drying methods here, so we hung up the rice here. So because we're using that, I thought, okay, if we harvest the rice and hang it up and then the typhoon blows it all over into the mud, then that's not going to be any good. So I took the risk and I delayed the harvest. It could have been a good choice or not a good choice, I'm not sure. Because one of the rice fields that we only have two, but one of them behind the house, that was totally fine. And it survived the typhoon, no problem. But then this field that I'm in now, all of the rice fell over because of the strong rain and the strong winds, and probably a variety of reasons, but probably the main reason was all the rain. So it made the grains heavier and the whole thing fell over, which made harvesting a little bit trickier. And then after we'd had about 3 months of blazing sunshine, then we had a bout of really wet weather, which meant that harvesting the rice, you can't harvest it while it's wet in the field because the machines that we were using won't get in here. They've got little tracks on them and everything. It's just a wee little machine that cuts each rice bundle. So something like this size, can you see it? And it chops it off there. And then it binds the rice. So let me show you. I've got some threshed rice hay over here, just to give you an idea of what it looked like. So the machine collects up the rice like this, cuts it off at the bottom and binds it, can you see here, with a rope, which is very useful because if you had to tie all of that by hand, that would be a pain in the bum. And then what we did, I'm sorry I couldn't get any footage while we were actually or if I think I do have a little bit of footage, so I'll edit it in here, of actually hanging up the rice to dry. So it's basically, you cut the rice, you have it bound up like this, or if you're very old school, you bind it by hand, and then you hang it up like that, and then it dries beautifully in the sun. So this is all under the direction of the local elders, and they've been teaching me the ways of doing it, and they said, you're young, you've got to dry. I'm not young, by the way. You've got to dry it, but maybe I am compared to the average age in the neighborhood. You've got to air dry it. You've got to dry it in the sun because that's the most delicious rice. That's the traditional rice. That's the beautiful, yummy rice. Bear in mind, the people telling me this all do theirs by combine harvester. They get it. They use a combine harvester. It threshes the rice immediately. Sorry, a little dragonfly's just landed there. Can you see him? Just there. Yeah, so it threshes the rice for you all at the same time. It shreds up the hay for you and puts it back in the soil. The only trouble with that method is you have to then use industrial rice dryers, these huge machines. You have to give to the local agricultural co-op and they dry the rice there. Whereas we don't have to do that. Our rice just dries in the sunshine, nice and naturally. So anyway, after all that palaver with the typhoon, this field did fall over, but then the local elders said, don't worry about it, it's not a big deal. As long as the grains of rice aren't going into the soil, then it's okay. Because if they go into the soil, they start growing new rice plants, which means the rice, you can't eat it anymore because it's germinated already, so that can't become food. So But I spent, goodness knows, I spent like 2 weeks just looking out the window, worrying, when's it going to dry out? When can we get in here and do it? So basically, yeah. Oh, and then there was the other wild card. I can't turn the camera around. Okay, I'm going to have to do it like this. Do you know whose feet this is? So luckily, these guys, can you see that? That is a deer footprint. So luckily these little rapscallions, you can see they've been eating you can see their footprints here. Look. I've actually only just noticed. So I've left all this hay out here for my friend who is oh yeah, they've been eating it. I've only just noticed it now, look. Because it's all facing one way except these ones, which have been pulled this way. The little rascals. So yeah, my friend is a grape farmer. Up there he lives, or he doesn't live there, but his farm is up on the top of that mountain. Up there is grape farms, and they need hay to prevent the roots of their grapes from getting too cold during the winter. So they cover it all with layers and layers of this hay. So I've saved some for him, and yeah, the deer have come out of this mountain here, and they ventured down, the cheeky rascals, and yeah, they've been eating my hay. But yeah, more importantly, so after things had finally dried out and it was like, okay, we can harvest the rice in a couple of days, then I noticed, oh no, the deer have started to become bold, and they've started coming down and just started eating the rice from our field as well. So they'd been nibbling at it while before we harvested, and after we hung it up, there were a couple of places where they were nibbling as well. So not that it's a big problem, it's just nature tax, isn't it? We've got to be nice to our neighbours, whether they're human or animal. But it sort of added that speed element, that sort of sense of urgency of, oh man, we've got to get this all done quickly, because don't know when the weather's going to go bad again, because it's now typhoon season in Japan. So in September it becomes typhoon season, which perfectly overlaps with the rice harvesting, which is inconvenient. And then yeah, then we had, for some reason, luckily the deer hadn't come in at all during while the rice was growing. But I think it might have been, I wonder what it is. I wonder if it's the activity of the grape farmers, because it's their harvest season. So they might have been making a lot of ruckus on top of the mountain, which might be driving them down, scaring them a little bit. Or it could be that other people had already begun their rice farming or their harvesting. And then that smell, maybe, had like, of drying rice in the air, had incentivized them to come down and check out what was going on. I don't know. I wonder what it was. But yeah, or it could simply just be a natural rhythm of we're coming closer to winter, so the deer are getting a little bit more serious in their pursuit of nutrition. Anyway, yes. So I've basically been sort of in a spiral for the last few weeks, just trying to get this whole thing done. Luckily it's done, it's harvested, we've threshed as well the grains off of the rice. This is ready for Hattori-san, who's going to come and pick it up for his rice farm. So now what? Now half of the hay from the harvest, you can see I've shredded in a lot of piles around here, and so I'm going to have to rake that out into the to put it back into the soil to give the soil more biomass. That circle of life, you've got to give back to nature. You can't keep taking and taking, although Lord knows we do take a lot, and we don't give enough. But this is all, again, I'm just getting told this by the local elders. They're just like, do it like this, do this, do this. But the main elder was like, okay, and then next year you know what to do now. So basically the unspoken thing was, stop bothering me. Now you know what to do, so stop bothering me. No, I'm sure they'll be very happy to help if I asked. Yeah. So what does that mean? It means a big load of relief for me, because I know we've had a successful harvest. I know that it's possible to farm rice. I know some of the challenges and some of the things to look out for next year, which has just been amazing. It's just been an amazing educational experience. We've got, this isn't all of it, but here's some of the bags of rice. I've just popped these here. I'm going to put them into the old, this is a adobe. It doesn't look like it because it's got these, what are these called? Fascia, is that a word? Panels. Got these panels on top of the adobe. I think actually if I pull back, oh yeah, I'll show you. You can see the real materials of it. Open it. I get scared a raccoon will pop out when I open it. Or snakes. We have the Japanese pit viper. We have a lot of them in this area, more so recently. So yes, you have to be very careful when you're prodding around in dark places or lifting up piles of wood and things like that. Anyway, so this is the actual walls of that building, which is where I'm going to store the rice. But it's lovely and cool in there. This was made in 1875 maybe? Maybe earlier, in the 1860s maybe? This building. But it's obviously, you can see it's had a lot of additions put on it. These kind of panels and things just to preserve it. Yeah, it'll probably be fine. So, put all my year's supply of rice in there. Yeah. Happily, I've already had some orders for the rice as well. I'm going to do a yoga teacher training course next month in Kyushu, which is the southernmost main island of Japan. And they're thankfully happy to take a big bunch of rice from me, which is really nice, in lieu of some of my payment for the teacher training, which is great. A bit of exchange going on there. Which is fantastic. And then hopefully I'll save some rice for my family and my friends, and then anything extra that will then go to hopefully creating a little bit of income and making new friends as well. Yeah, so this has all just been about the rice situation, the panic, being at the will of the weather, and the deer, but thankfully it's gone really smoothly this year. And the next trick, or the next thing in my calendar, apart from doing yoga teacher training, is we've got two things. You see these trees here? They're persimmon trees, so I've got to figure out when and how. I think how is pretty easy. I think you just take them off. But when, I guess when they go orange, to harvest the persimmon trees. And the other question is, yeah, how to prune them as well without damaging the trees too much, because the one closest to the house is getting a bit out of control and might start presenting a problem. So I've got to figure out how to prune trees. Then in November, so I'm looking towards preparing the soil in the wee field up there. I don't know if you can catch it. It's just there. We've got a field up there where I'm going to plant some spelt wheat. So I'm also going to sort of prepare the field there because it hasn't had anything planted in it in a long while. So just cutting the grass, burning the grass, and then mulching, a bit of manure, then by November we can put the seeds in. And then hopefully by June next year, we'll have a nice little harvest of spelt wheat, which is not very commonly known here. So that's quite nice. The local people were quite excited about it. They're like, oh, nobody grows wheat around here, so yeah, give it a go. Yeah, that's my update. It's been super long this time. I think it's called a damselfly in English, not a dragonfly, maybe. I don't know. I'm not quite sure the difference. I think damselflies are smaller than dragonflies, right? Anyway. Have a good one. See you later.